So
she's still carrying that title.
So she would retire out of the PSO program, correct? I mean,
I think, I don't know for sure.
That's what I'm wondering.
Essentially, she's budgeted in 2 departments.
That is correct, because that's the reason why, because we have the FTEs on the the customer assistance side. We also have the FTE on the police side, because if that individual was eligible to go back, they have to have that position kind of frozen or vacant for that person to return. So that's how we budget, and we've been budgeting like that for the last 3 years with this position, as far as I can aware of. So
somebody's short a position, there's an empty position someplace, which is the police department, correct? Because she's not there, she's in a call center.
I would say that's safe to assume, yes.
I see what you're saying, but I'm still just wondering how that's going to affect her pension. Now, she's being paid from you
Yes,
at
she
a
is.
salary just like an 1128 salary, or is it a PSO salary?
It's a PSO salary.
So her salary, that's how her pension will be based, on a PSO, but yet she's working in 1128 position.
She's working in 1128 position, but she's getting paid a PSO salary.
And she'll retire out of a PSO position out of the police department, not from 1128. No, I'm just kind of getting this out, because I like everybody to understand what I'm trying to say here. If you're going to retire from one place, you should be working in that place. It's kind of, why would we split into two places? Because basically, are we setting a precedence for anybody else that can't go to work to start finding positions in other places of the city?
That's an
it's just
HR
something
issue.
that
That's a
we
comp
looked at.
issue and a contract issue. I mean, it's
That's an HR
take a lot of
issue, because they moved her there. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Does anybody else have any questions for Brenda? All right, thank you, Brenda.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brenda.
Okay, and you said we're not having one for the assessor. That's basically.
That's correct, yeah. The assessing, like I said, it's the contracted services, and it's based on the contract. I think there was a multi-year contract approved, so the annual cost is based on that contract.
Just in time. Chief Portis, we're ready for you. If you're ready to go, don't get too comfortable. If I would have seen you before you sat down, I would have. Okay, Jason, if you want to start.
Okay. So next up is the fire department. And just to summarize the financial information, total department expenditures for fiscal year 18 was 5.9 million. Fiscal year 19, it was 6.7 million. In the current year projected is 6.6 million. And then the fiscal year 21 mayor proposed is 5.6 million. And I apologize for the expansion of that thing, so you couldn't see the difference, but it's about a 15% decrease. And majority of that decrease is the one-time expenditures that are being spent in this year's budget for equipment vehicles. As you can see in the last couple line items there, that was approximately 740,000 around there. So majority of that decrease is related to those one-time capital expenditures that were there. And then real quick on the current year budget, there is a 257,000 increase from the current budget projected for the rest of the year, and the majority of that is related to overtime costs that are going up 424,000 predicted, which is offset by the decrease in personal services regular wages because of the vacancies that are filled. So those kind of offset each other to net to an increase of 257,000 for the current year. And then going into fiscal year 21, you just see the I think there's some contractual step raises in there, and then you've got the adding back of those vacant positions so that the hope of getting those fulfilled next year. And then you also see a reduction in the overtime. The assumption is having the regular wages and the staffing up to where it should be would reduce the overtime costs. And those are the significant changes in the mayor proposed 21 budget.
Chief, how many vacancies do you have right now in your department?
Through the chair, Mr. Woolley, We don't really have a set number of, you know, of what the department is, but as you know, we brought forward to hire 3 additional to take over the dispatch duties. We still have not achieved that number, so we're too short from that. And then we proposed last budget to hire 6 additional, which we weren't able to hire either yet. But that is, we kind of decided to do that based on we're expecting a few people to be retired this year too, or last year and this year.
Okay, so we're having trouble filling the vacancies we have now, and then we're anticipating a few retirees this year?
Mm-hmm.
Chief, what do you think? Why are we having such a problem filling vacancies? Seems to be the issue that you're hearing. What might be the problem? Why the vacancy? We're not getting it.
I don't think there's a lot of people that are, you know, when I was coming on a long time ago, there was a lot of people that wanted to be, you know, firemen and police officers. There's just not that many people that want to, you know, seek this out as a career anymore. There's few, but just there's not a lot. Plus, we're competing with all of the cities right now that are hiring, and you know, there's limited people in the workforce to pick from.
Are our salary ranges comparable to other cities our size?
Well, I think our, as far as the new people coming in the door, I think they're pretty competitive.
Mm-hmm.
It may be a fact that maybe some of the benefit packages are a little less than, you know, some other communities. Because we're competing with, like Dearborn Heights and different ones that still have, you know, their new guys are in their pension. And, you know, we offer the 401k right now. But, you know, the coming in the door as far as the pay is pretty, you know, right in line with the other communities. It's the extra stuff.
As far as equipment, I know we've been purchasing quite a, you know, everything, we're pretty good to go on all equipment, you know, uniform.
The front line, the vehicles have totally been transformed, you know, they're all new. The equipment that I had put on there was more or less, you know, like I don't know if you guys remember all these budget meetings, but kind of explaining to you that we were kind of, when I first started, we needed everything. And we kind of took approach to get the vehicles done first, and then this was going to be the equipment here. But, you know, they're not, they're needs, but they're, you know, they're needs that can be, you know, wait, they're not, you know, something we need like right now. And as needs come up throughout the year, I'm sure that we can bring forward.
The dispatch, is that a regular fireman officer, a regular person, or is that somebody on the outside?
No,
That's one of the firefighters in a rotation.
it's an actual firefighter. They're looking to fill 3 positions, and only 1 have been filled so far.
So does that person on the dispatch also go out for fires? Like PSO don't, they say.
No, when he's assigned to that desk, because it's a rotation, he's on the desk 24 hours.
Okay, but on another day, they can go out and do, yeah, so it's a 24-hour shift, yeah, but they can go out on runs, you know, on other days.
Okay.
But not on that
Okay,
day.
thank you.
Unless, God forbid, there's such an emergency where.
Is that position as far as the dispatch position? So that's a requirement to be a firefighter? To fill your slot for your dispatch?
Yes.
It must be a firefighter then? Okay. So that would be the reason why you were attempting to get 3 more personnel in because of that position for rotation?
Mr. Chairman,
Mayor?
if I may, without going into too deep of details, we have sat down with the union to discuss some of the areas where we may be able to make it a little more competitive. In all transparency, you know, all of those decisions come at a significant cost, and so we're still working through those. We're not in a position yet, the city and or the union, to bring anything back, but you know, we're looking at it. We talk to the chief virtually every day about different opportunities to become more competitive. I think probably the greatest challenge is the fact that we offer a 401k and other departments are in a pension program. So I don't know if that's a hurdle we can overcome or not, but you all know those details, and we'll continue to analyze it, and at some point hopefully bring back something for everybody to consider. I think the pay is in line with, I mean, there are other communities that have more attractive packages, but I think overall we're relatively in line with other departments. I think the stability is now helping us, you know, there was a period of time where I think there was some uncertainty that people didn't know what direction the department was gonna go in. I think that has kind of shored up now. I think having, Chief Portis, lead the department has helped a lot. You know, we'll continue to work on them and hopefully come up with a strategy that works for both the city and the union and ultimately is more attractive.
We did, actually, just right when all this, the coronavirus kind of hit, we had 6 people that were on the list getting ready to start the process. Hiring freeze from the state, so they really haven't moved any further than this, they're,
Right.
you know, they're on the list right now, waiting for the process.
So there is a possibility that we could get personnel after this kind of drops down a little bit. So you're saying there were personnel that were in the process,
In
possibly?
process, but this got halted. I mean, this was like probably the 3rd test, I think, and then I was able to get 6 people on the, when I say list, not the civil services, but just, they're ready to start the process, to go through the testing, to go through the oral interviews, and
Okay.
then. see
And
where they fall.
all of them come in certifiable, once you can hire them and they're ready to go from the academy, or they don't have to go through an academy, correct?
They have to have firefighter, or actually, we
Right.
changed that to kind of get more people through. They have to have a valid Michigan paramedic license and a physical fitness certification from some form of fire training academy,
Okay.
and then they have a year once they get on to get firefighter 1 and 2.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for the chief? Just want to say, Chief, I think you're doing a good job. We appreciate what you're doing out there, and please let everybody know to stay safe if they can.
All right, well, thank you.
For sure.
Guys, have a good night.
You too.
Thanks, Chief.
You know, on the Parks and Rec. Guido, come on down.